next question?
Okay.
Okay. What is your stance on Trump's trade policy, specifically all of the tariffs?
Well, that's one of the frustrating things about this as a scientist and a businessman is that, I see the damage of these tariffs. And, when the tariffs came up last time, I was besieged by businesses saying, what the hell, we are being clobbered by the effects of these tariffs. It's sort of, those of you who suffered through, macroeconomics have probably learned just how bad tariffs were back in the Depression. You've seen the recent numbers. When people say, why is U.S. growth significantly higher than, say, Europe and other advanced countries, a big part of that is we have low tariffs and they have high tariffs. Because if you're trying to manufacture something in the United States, I'm a manufacturer. When I was 19, my little brother and I started this company that now produces about 2/3 of all the theater lighting equipment, including maybe the lighting influence here. And we do hardware, software, sheet metal, painting, wiring harnesses, everything, and we manufacture in the Midwest. I'm very proud of it. But there are parts that we import, okay? And when you see those huge tariffs being put on imported parts, guess what? When you try to re-export that material, it's not competitive, all right? And it's because the United States has had pretty low tariffs that we have had the highest growth rate in the advanced economies of the world. And that's pretty important, and it agrees with theory. It also agrees with the evidence. There's a big effort to rewrite history on the part of the Trump administration. But last time around, Trump's tariffs put us into a manufacturing recession 1 full year before COVID. Okay? That was causing pain. There was an export recession 1 year before COVID. There was a drop in manufacturing employment 1 year before COVID. This hurt last time he did it, and he's doing it with a vengeance this time. And so I am now once again being besieged by businesses in my district. There's one that does sheet metal for me in Aurora, and they got calls up. You won't believe this. The price of hot rolled steel is up 33% just since the inauguration, just in anticipation of those tariffs. And that's going to make the products, and export some of what he makes. It's just going to make it uncompetitive. And this is a tough thing to explain to people because everyone's sort of frustrated that wouldn't it be great if we made absolutely everything in the United States? But there's a reason to buy a lot of our steel and a lot of our lumber from Canada because they have a lot of the resources necessary to do that, and they can do it at a price lower than we can. And there are things we can do cheaper than Canada, and it makes sense for us to trade and not have tariffs on that. And when you see the sort of nonsense economics that somehow Donald Trump has convinced himself of, and then you see these really smart businessmen that he brings into his orbit who know better, just standing up and saying things they don't believe in support of tariffs and stuff like this.
Why?
I do not know. I do not know. This is it's something I wonder a lot about everything about the Trump, the Trump orbit. There's a member, a very wise member, Marcy Kaptur, who represents Toledo, who pointed out something interesting though, which is that every member of Trump's orbit was neglected as a child. Which is not, it sounds funny, but you go down this list. J.D. Vance wrote a book about how his childhood was terrible. It's really interesting. You go down this list, and so they seem to be almost united by a grievance against the universe because they were made fun of in 4th grade or whatever it is. I don't know, but maybe it's a clue because this why is a hard thing. I am always bothered when I see smart people doing evil stuff. It just really bothers me, but it's a fact of life. We've seen it many times in history. When you figure that out, let me know. Okay.
All right.